And sometimes we don't really see how far we have come in the year because we forget all that happened in the beginning or in the middle of the year. Hi guys, welcome back to Everything Unpacked. I'm so glad that you're here. If this is your first time here, my name is Irene and I'm the host of Everything Unpacked. So join me as I answer the 7 questions to reflect on the ending year 2025. You can also use these prompt questions to reflect on your passing year. They're just very simple and quick. So let's dive in. The first question is, what challenge did you overcome this year? This doesn't have to be something big, could be something small. And as for me, I would say this year, I don't want to call it a challenge. It's just something new that I got myself into or God blessed me with. This year, I became a mom, a first-time mom in a foreign country. Yes, I've had family around, but it was for a short period of time. I would say most of the time it's just me and my husband, and that can be really challenging because first of all it's in a different culture and a different environment. Motherhood itself has stretched me mentally, physically, emotionally, but again, just as an aspect of life, just as a hood, as it's called, motherhood really had been a challenge, especially in the early days, because there were so many things that I had to learn, and sometimes I had to learn there on the spot. It was really challenging because the internet says this, the people with experience say the other thing, so you're wondering, what do I have to do? At times I would catch myself asking the same questions either to my family members, to the doctor and the internet, and I would get 3 different answers. And now I'm like, what's the best option to go with? Well, really one of the challenging experiences I've had this year is motherhood. I don't think anything can top that on my chart of the things that challenged me this year. Question number 2 says, what did you learn from that challenge? Well, I told one of my friends that I am no longer the same person I was as the year started, because as much as I gave birth early 2025, that person is gone. That person is no longer the same, in a sense that I have evolved and changed a lot. And as much as motherhood was a challenge and still is a challenge, but now I'm not struggling anymore. And one thing I've learned is that at the end of the day, the child is mine. And all babies are not the same. I am looking at my baby and I know what's the best for my baby. Of course, I'll have to listen to the doctors, I'll have to listen to the parents, I'll have to learn on the internet, but it comes down to what do I really see and what do I really know. And on the other side, I have become a better person. Not that I was a bad person, but there are so many changes in my life. The way I interact in the society, the way I see things. So many things don't bother me anymore as they would before. And all this is because of motherhood. My routines have changed. The way I do things has changed. And now I can adapt very easily. I am very flexible, especially with time-sensitive matters, location-sensitive matters, because honestly, most of the things are decided or depends on whatever is going on with my baby. So I am here right now because my baby is taking a nap. That's why I'm able to do this video. Sometimes you have to wake up early in the morning, sometimes during the day, whatever that it is. If I'm to schedule my meetings, or first of all, I have to work from home. Like I said, I'm in a different country. The cost of having a nanny here equals almost to the salary you'll be making by going to work outside. And that aside, we are not coming from the same culture. This is not my culture. I wouldn't want to raise my baby, like another person raising my baby wouldn't be the same as me being there. So I want to be present as much as possible, especially at the early stages of my baby's growth. So that's much of what I've been learning, and I'm still learning, because one thing I've realized that I learned last week and what I'm learning today are not the same thing, and I will keep learning from this, not just this year but moving forward. And also, really, I want to put it out there for anyone who is looking forward to having a baby. You need to be ready. Most of the time, people talk about the finance aspect of it. Girl, it's not just the finances. Sometimes the finances are not even the question. But are you ready for that? Because your life is about to take a turn. Even if you have a village, at least a village helps. But in most cases, I have a story to tell. Okay, moving on to the next question, please. The third question says, who is the person that made a huge difference in your life this year? Well, where do I start? I don't want to say my baby, because I've already spoken about that, but the people that are supporting me, the people that are there for me, even to check on me, the new friends that I've made. So I would start with the people that really supported me and were there for me. My husband is number one. I would be lying if I didn't say that this man has stood for me in ways that I did not even see or I did not imagine, and I'm just grateful for that. But my friends, my family, I can't really say I've had a bad year, and this is not all by myself. I'm so thankful to God for the people that He has put in my life. I can't shout out everyone, but really, if anyone watches this video and is one of those people, I'm so much grateful, because some days were hard, some days were beautiful, and all these are made by people. But again, so many people inspired me, because at one point maybe you want to give up on things, and then you look at someone else and you're like, okay, if someone can do this, surely I can even try. Or the people that keep on people that cheer on me, or they encourage me, they pray for me. I'm really grateful for all those people. I wouldn't have had it any other way, and such people made a huge difference in my life this year. Another question says, what surprise did you get this year? Well, it's the realization that in 1 year, so many things can change, people can come and go, life can take a different route, and there is no one book or there is no one rule to how life should happen. And again, one thing that I learned, that my fears are not relevant, and I am stronger than I knew I was, because I didn't think, or I did not expect to do all that I did this year. Or if you told me maybe in January that this might happen and you might do this and this, I wouldn't have believed. So looking back, wow, I am so much surprised by how strong I have been, consistent, how I've pushed myself, how I have showed up, not just for myself, not just for my family, but for other people as well, and the growth that I've had this year. I know I grow each year, but there is something different about this year. The amount of things I do not really care about, or things that I would see and I'm like, well, it's none of my business, or I don't really care. I mean, life goes on and that's it. So yeah, it's more on the side of the realization. This year was more of the eye-opener to me, and really the person that entered this year is not the person that is leaving this year, in a very beautiful way, in a very wonderful way. And I'm so grateful and glad for anything and everyone that made it possible to happen. The fifth question says, what's something that you bought that you're proud of yourself for? Well, I would say again, with everything that happened this year in my life and the change, like I said, becoming a mom, anything that bought me time, anything that bought me self-care, because I am very big on self-care. I don't believe in pouring from empty cups. I believe in taking care of myself, mentally, physically, spiritually, my health. Then I can be able to pour into others. Even when I was going, or when I would go to the checkups at the hospital, anything that was lacking in my baby, or anything that the doctor would suggest the baby gets, they would suggest I get that too, because of course I have been breastfeeding, exclusively, I would say. And that shows that it begins with you and then you can give to others. So always that has been my rule and my route, that I need to take care of myself. And because of the changes and because of time being limited this year, like on my own, it was a bit hard to do all of that. But any chance I got, or anything that I could buy that would give me time, help with self-care, and even to invest in the future, I would go for that. So I have bought time by outsourcing things. Some of the things I wouldn't want to do them myself, even if I can. For example, little things like going to do my hair entirely at the salon. I'll just go do the washing, the combing, everything let another person do while I'm resting, refreshing, and recharging myself. Or any beauty products that I would get that would be nice for my skin or for me, I would go for that. And I have bought a couple of journals, or I don't know how to call them, but one of them is a weight loss plan book that I was using, because if you don't know, when you give birth, you gain weight. It's either from the pregnancy or breastfeeding, and you still want to take care of yourself. So I need to be disciplined, and I like to track things. So I had such products. Well, I have added a few candles to relax during time nights, either by myself or with my husband when the baby's asleep. Anything that was for my growth, my self-care, and peace and time, that one I bought, as long as I could afford it, because also I wasn't into crazy purchases this year. So I would say other things are just common. Other things that I bought were common, but what was big for me was all that gave me that time, peace, self-care, and investing into the future, or growing business-wise and career-wise. I put my money into that. Next question says, what's the best book or podcast you listened to this year? This is interesting because as much as I had limited time, reading and listening to podcasts are non-negotiables for me. I tried at least 2 to 3 episodes per month. At least 2 to 3 episodes per month, or more if I could. I would do this as I go out to exercise, or when I'm cleaning at home. And it's time that I could get to squeeze in a book, squeeze in a podcast, I would go for that. So I did both. And starting with the books, the best books that I read this year, number 1 is Tuesdays with Morrie. It's funny that I read Tuesdays with Morrie right after I gave birth. So sometimes it was between the feeds in the morning or the night, or when the baby is awake and my husband is helping with the baby, to be there with him. As much as he would say go back and sleep, I would stay awake and read a page until the baby goes back to sleep, and then we go back to sleep. So I loved Tuesdays with Morrie because it's a great book, and I gifted it to a couple of people right after reading it. I would give it to my friends that I know they can read books, because there are so many lessons in there are so many things to see, and it played out like you're watching. So it was really a nice read. And the other book was The Blueprint of You by Emmanuel Saitoti. Shout out to you. I liked the book, and it's really amazing. It's a very simple book to read, but really helpful, and I'm glad it grows and reaches many people. It's because it really is like a reminder as we are searching ourselves, the vision, the purpose, and all those things related, how to overcome challenges and how to grow in anything that we do, whether it's in your career or in your personal development and growth. So I loved The Blueprint of You by Emmanuel Saitoti. Shout out to you, friend. And another book is The Woman I Wanted to Be. I read this before, but I decided to read it again this year. Really, it was a right move, because reading it back, there are things in there that made sense, but they make more sense right now, or they mean something different right now as my life has taken a different turn. So definitely I'll keep on reading this book, The Woman I Wanted to Be. Yeah, it's one of the books that I read. I also read 2 poetic books, but I didn't finish them. I'll just put the covers somewhere here. Yeah, I didn't finish those. I would read them in my free time because they're more like poems or some writings, and somehow I couldn't relate that much. But yeah, I didn't put much effort in there, but at least I tried. So I'm glad that I opened 5 different books this year. Sorry, that was long. Okay, on the podcast, the number 1 podcast I listened to is The Diary of the CEO by Steve. Yeah, I listened to that a lot. I think most of the guests that were on the show really spoke or touched on the things that I was more interested into this year, because we're mainly things like parenthood, and this year he was really big on health. So many things touched on health, and I've been watching my health this year, getting back to track and learning about nutrition in a deeper level, things like fasting and exercising, all of those things. So The Diary of a CEO was really good for me, but also getting to know many people. I remember this year on the show he had Jimmy Fallon, and he had Mr. Beast, he had so many people that were there, and when I listened I'm like, oh, so I think I love getting to know people on a deeper level even though I don't know them. So the guests were really amazing this year. Another one of the favorite, as usual, is On Purpose with Jay Shetty. This one is always my go-to, and I listened some of the episodes, not as many as The Diary of a CEO, but for sure I listened to that. I listened to Joel Osteen because I am a Christian and I have to pour into my cup, and I like the way he teaches. So yeah, I listened to that podcast. But also on the list I added Emma Grade. I listened to her from different places, I would say, not just on her own podcast, but also because I was listening to any interview that you put Emma Grade, you'll catch me there, because she's one of the women that I like. So I listened to her from Mel Robinson, I listened to her from Jay Shetty, and I listened to her from The Diary of a CEO from Steve, and also on her own podcast, Aspire, and it was really nice. And she's one of the ladies I really like, and like I said, people that inspired me or changed me is also Emma, because she's a mother, a businesswoman. As much as I'm not on that level yet, but seeing someone else do it as she does, at least for what we see from the internet, I was really happy to see. But also I love Khloe Kardashian, so I listened to her podcast this year. Yeah, a few episodes, I would say at least 5 episodes from her, and that was it on the podcast that I listened to. Well, like I said, I listened to Mel Robinson, I don't know, I listened also to Tony, if I'm saying the name correctly. I just put all the podcasts that I listened to. I listen to podcasts more than I listen to music. Trust me. How do I find time? Well, you gotta make time. Like if you like something, I believe you're going to make time for it, and that's what I did this year. I'm not big on giving myself flowers, but this year I'm going to give myself flowers because girl, I showed up and I showed out. Even for the things that you can track, for example, from my main channel, you can see how hard I pushed content this year. How did I do it? I'm not sure, but I know I did. So I'm proud of myself. Now to the seventh and last question says, what's your blind spot for next year? I would put that on Everything Unpacked, on the guest, because it's more of things that I'm not seeing yet, but I need to dive into, or it's more into the things that I'm not seeing yet, but I'm ready to see how they unfold. I want to see how this space grows, how this space goes, because aside from me doing my solo videos, I want to invite many people. Somehow I'm scared or I'm worried, like, will the people be willing? Because like you can see, it is a small place, and most people or many people don't like to be invited or to speak at small channels like this, small channels like mine. And I'm just an ordinary woman. Who am I really? I'm just Irene, but I want to do that. I want to hear people's stories and share that with others. So this is the blind spot for me next year. Let's see how we go and how we grow here on Everything Unpacked. But again, in my personal life, I want to be big on growth and routines and trying to see how much all that goes. Really looking forward to that, and just being a better person, a happy woman, a great wife and a mom, a best sister, at my best, because we all define best at our own ways. So whatever that I can do at my best, that's what I'm looking forward to in the coming year. And I want to be more onto tracking things. Yeah, I want to track things more, and yeah, just that. I would say that's just it. But mostly Everything Unpacked for sure is my blind spot next year. And funny enough is I started this end of November, beginning of December. Yeah, but it's more like this year or the coming year, because normally we have a tendency or the habit of doing things at the beginning of the year. But I was actually talking to my friend, and it's more like this strategy has shifted this year. Let's start from the end of this year, and as we move into the next year, we are already getting a hold of the new things, the new routines, or the things that we really want to do. And one thing that I learned this year is holding myself accountable. And how do I hold myself accountable? If I want to talk to someone, or if I want to do something with another person, I will go ahead and let them know in advance, so that I am ashamed to cancel on them, or I'm like, I cannot waste someone's time because I asked someone to schedule a meeting or a video, or let's do something together. I already put that in their minds, and I cannot just cancel or change in the middle of the way. So that has been one of the ways of holding myself accountable, and it has been working really well with me. And I'm sure I've shared this with other friends of mine, and I would like all of us here to try something like that. Go ahead and do that, but again, do things slowly at your own pace. Don't let pressure get you. This is social media. I woke up, I dressed up, I'll be going out, but this doesn't mean I'm living in a far dress. First of all, my house is too hot. What I'm trying to say is that don't let social media pressure you, because now we even have the robots doing lifestyle content that you cannot even differentiate. So move at your own pace, do what makes you happy, do your best, do it in small, meaningful steps, realistic goals, and that's the best. So this marks the end of this video. I'm wishing you a happy new year 2026. I hope to see you all in the next year, not physically though, I mean back again on this channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to Everything Unpacked. I would love to see you on the comment section and let's connect if we can. So until next time, my name is Irene. I'm signing out. Probably this is the last video for this year. Until next year, bye bye, stay blessed and have a nice day.